What's up everybody, it's Math at Home here. This is lesson 4 and this week we will cover page 163, which is going to be about coordinates. So please grab everything necessary, including your math book and your copybook, and let's get it started. As I told you before, this lesson is about coordinates. So we will start with the definition of the coordinates first. We use coordinates to address a point on a surface, and I want you to know that this surface in mathematics is called plane. So any 2D piece of paper which you can plot some dots on it is going to be called a plane in mathematics, not a surface. Okay, I will start teaching coordinates from our numeric line. So previously we studied about the numeral lines, and we said that if we have any kind of straight line and we start scaling them and of course labeling them, so any possible dot on either of these scales can be very easily addressed. For example, if I have any dot here, you could say that, teacher, it's on 9. Or if I have it, for example, here, you could possibly guess that it's on 0. But what if my dot is a little bit upwards here? Or even, let's go further, let's say here. Now in this case, how are you going to address it? So apparently you cannot say that this one is 9, because if this is 9, so what about this one? So both of them cannot be 9 together, can they? So apparently, let's say I have some dots here, and I say, choose the one that's on 9. You're going to be confused because I don't give you enough information to choose in between. Actually, the only one which is precisely on 9 is this one. Others have some extra detail about addressing them. Now here in this lesson, we will study how to do so. We will need another vertical line. So this line is going to be scaled up just like the horizontal one. And of course, we're going to label it. Now everything is perfect. If my dot is here, I could say that it's on 9. Now, if my dot is here, I could easily address it because I have 2 axes. One of them is representing half of the data, and the other one is representing the other half. It means I can easily address it from here and here, and the intersection of these 2 lines is going to address your plot. So that I have 2 lines right now, I need to name them. So I call the horizontal one the x-axis, and the vertical one is going to be y-axis. Since we have 2 pieces of data here, one is related to x-axis, and the other one is related to y-axis, we will need to determine a special way in order to show this data on paper. Therefore, we will come up with a bracket which contains 2 data. One of them is going to be here, and the other one is going to be after comma. So apparently, the first one is going to be x, and the second one is going to be y. What it means, as an example, if I want to show this plot, I could say that the x amount for it is 4, and the y amount for it is 4 also. So if I want to address this point, I will say this point, I will say x4, y4. Now, what about this point? Now, according to what we studied, it will be x9. What about y? y 0. So it's going to be x9 and y 0. Now you tell me, please, what is the coordinates of the blue and the green dot? Let me find a better way for green one. I think it's proper to put it here. Yeah. Please take your time and tell me the coordination for the blue and the green dot. Well done. In order to do so I will have some brackets. So I told you the first one is going to show the x and the second one is y. Let's find x. So x is apparently here because I told you that this horizontal line is x. So we need to find the number which shows its place on x-axis. So as you can see, it's 7. And once we go to y-axis, we will end up with 2. About the green dot also, we will have 5 as x and 7 as y. So this basically is how we deal with addressing dots on a plane or on a coordinates grid. I ask you to address this point for me, the purple one. Well, brilliant. It neither has x or y. So all of them or both of them are 0. So 0, 0 is the coordination for the purple dot. Now we want to expand our math topic to something geographical. Well, actually in geography, they use the same method, somehow the same method, in order to address different locations on Earth. So basically scientists divide Earth into some pieces using some lines. Now, as you can see, these are the lines. I don't want to open the geographical topic of it because I don't want to turn math into geography here. But let's say if I have a boat here and I want to address the location, it's going to be easy for me because I have plotted all Earth and I can relate this location on 2 axes. Of course, in geography, we don't call them the x and the y axis. They call them altitude and latitude. But anyhow, they follow the same logic. So if I want to point to this boat, I would say, yes, it has the x of 5 and y of 6. Now, could you please determine the location of this flag for me? Well done. Once we continue towards the axis, it is going to be x10 and y3. Brilliant. Let's continue with an example. What is same and what is different about these set of coordinates? So the coordinates are 4 and 3, 4 and 5, 4 and 7, and 4 and 9. Please take your time and try to understand the differences and the similarities between these 4 coordinates. Okay, in order to analyze the question, you already know that the first numbers here are representing the x or y. X. And the second numbers are showing the y amounts. So obviously you could see that the x's for all of these plots are the same. But about the y, they are having different y amounts. So these are the similarities. So in order to have similarities, we could say same x's and differences different y's. What pattern will they make if plotted on a coordinate grid? Okay, now what we need to do is to have a coordinate grid, as I told you, the y and the x axis, and label them, scale them, and try to plot these coordinations on the coordinate grid. Let me have a coordinate grid here. Oops, my handwriting is interfering with the coordinate grid. I need to get rid of it. So this is the coordinate grid here, and yes, that's enough, I think. So I give you some time to plot these coordinates on the coordinate grid. So as you can see, you have an x-axis, a y-axis, and all scaled and labeled. Please do so for me. First thing first, I want to name them as A, B, C, and D. Starting with A, I have the X amount 4, okay, 4, and Y3. All right, Y3 and X4. Let's see, where do they intersect? Yes, here it is. Another one. So this is A. B is X4, okay, the same X, and Y5. Okay, X4 and Y5. Yes, that is. About C, we're going to have same X all the time, and this time Y is 7. that is C. And about D, Y is 9. D. So these are the dots according to the coordinates which is given to us. Now, the question is not asking for connecting the dots, but if I say connect the dots, I'm pretty much sure you can understand that it's going to make a vertical line here. So starting from D, coming down to A, yes. So this is going to make a vertical line. So these 4 dots actually can form a vertical line if connected. So this basically was our lesson for today. Please take your time and watch the video all over again, because for next video, I will analyze the practice parts related to the coordination. Take good care after yourselves and see you next session. Bye bye.